Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Marcus and Jamie here,
Hello, hello.
and welcome to what we think might be a new podcast, new show, some new content. Not sure. I've been doing did In the Weeds for a while, pre-COVID, where I interviewed restaurant owners, and you and I have done a little bit together. Of course, you and I own a restaurant together. We own Aroma Time together,
Yes.
and people keep admiring our success, our marriage. I wonder
How we work together.
wonder how we do it.
Me too sometimes.
Wonder how we do it. And so a lot of people have encouraged us over the years, and you've done some speaking stuff yourself where you've like totally wowed the crowd about, just the couplepreneur thing. So people have been encouraging us to do this couplepreneur angle of
Podcast.
information.
Information. Yes.
Yeah, just information. So we're gonna say maybe this might be episode number 1
Episode number 1.
of we don't know what yet.
Right.
So let's start with the basics of who we are, and then I have a question you don't know yet. I'm gonna pop on you, and that might be the fun part of this.
Oh, that means I can pop questions on you
You
too.
can pop questions on me too, yeah. So, all right. We just want to say a little bit about us, when we opened, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. So Marcus and I opened Aroma Time Bistro in Ellenville, New York, so 90 miles north of New York City, in 2003. Actually, Christmas Day of 2003 was our first day of serving meals. We were a soup kitchen that day. And then our first actually being open night was New Year's Eve of 2003 into 2004. So we are celebrating our 20th New Year's Eve. We're going into our 20th year, so it's our 19th anniversary and our 20th year of being in business here. We are very farm to table. We are very conscious about where all of our ingredients are coming from, down to the salt on the table, even including the bar. So we pride ourselves on the bar. We love to support independent, small companies, and that's super important to us.
Great.
So you want to take it from there?
Yeah,
and
so
kind of elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, so we're high school sweethearts.
Oh, you want to start that?
Yeah, let's give
Right,
people the
so
full
we're
picture.
high school sweethearts. We've been together for how many years?
32.
Good
33.
answer.
32.
32 years.
32.
Yes. October was 32 years. We've been married 24 years. We'll be married 25 in 2023. We have 2 kids. We have a daughter who's the oldest, and our son.
We're gonna be grandparents
We're
soon.
going to be grandparents very soon.
Very soon. Our daughter's 23, and
we are having a grandchild.
she said it's the first and only.
Well, that's what she says. Until you hold the baby in your hands. I think we all say that as women. I'm never going through this again, especially if you have an awful pregnancy. So that has been kind of difficult for her. So we were talking about becoming grandparents. And how exciting it is, and going to the next step and phase of our lives, right? We've raised our kids. Our son also plays Division I baseball.
Which you travel a lot for.
So we travel a lot. So this is going to be a nice balancing act between our daughter, our grandson, because she's having a baby boy, and our son.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun. It'll be interesting. It will keep us young. I can't wait to run around after him. And it's exciting. It's going to be exciting to watch our daughter become a mom. So
yes,
so that's kind of part of like the next phase as well, right? In terms of like talking about all this fun stuff, and also balancing our lives with balancing a grandson and our children
and the restaurant. And of course, we have a couple other businesses as well. We have a travel business, so we do a lot of traveling. We take guests away. If you're watching this, VIP Winery Vacations right back on the back screen there. That's our travel business. So we take people to vineyards, and now mezcal distilleries in Oaxaca. So vineyards in Italy, Spain, California, New York, northern Mexico, and Valle de Guadalupe, and now Oaxaca is for mezcal.
So that's one of our businesses.
Also a DD business here in the Hudson Valley. We send people around to drivers around to drive people while they can have fun at wineries, breweries, and distilleries, not worry about DWIs. We send responsible drivers.
We drive
Uh,
your car,
yep. We
drive you
have
around, and get you back safely.
we do luxury Airbnb rentals. So we have luxury Airbnb rental business. We have 4 properties right now, 4 luxury properties in that portfolio that like fetch some nice money. Some of those properties, pools, hot tubs,
They're
full
beautiful properties,
amenities,
yeah.
really amazing, really amazing with the crank it up a notch because we're restaurateurs and we have access to a lot of things that normal hosts don't have access to. So we've cranked it up a lot. Let's see. And I think there's one other business. Oh, and we coach other restaurants.
We sure do.
We coach other restaurants. Our next book is getting ready to come out on COVID and how
everybody needs to eat.
Yeah.
And how we figured out the ins and outs of being successful during COVID and getting people food. So,
Yep.
Because everybody needed to eat.
Yep.
So we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about.
So in this episode, I got a question for you. So I was on Facebook the other day and I saw a comment of advice to new restaurant owners.
Okay.
And the common theme in the thread was don't do it with your spouse.
Oh.
Don't open a business with your spouse. Don't open a business with a spouse or family. Don't do that.
So interestingly enough, we just got back from Oaxaca, Mexico, and in Mexico, families all work together. And so
Italy too.
The culture is very interesting and very different. I asked one of the at one of the palenques, I asked one of them, the distillery owners, how they feel about working with their family, and they said they've just been doing it, right? Like that's just what they do.
That's your
family works with you. You've been doing this for how long? Years and years and years, generations.
4 generations.
And
we saw 4 generations at some distilleries at one of the pottery families. 4 generations of women there making pottery.
And they work together every day and they spend time together outside, probably, of work. They live together, some of them. So, our culture here in the United States is a little bit different. You don't hire your staff because you don't want to put a wedge between you if something goes wrong.
Which normally does.
Which it will go wrong, right?
Does.
And we said that too. We didn't want our families working with us, but our daughter works with us. Our son has worked with us, and yes, there have been some battles and stressful, situations, but for the most part, I mean, obviously we've worked through them because they've been around for, 20 and 23 years. And we've worked through them, at the restaurant. So what kind of advice would I give other restaurateurs? Is that what you're asking?
So I guess I'm going to tell you my answer to that.
No, I don't want to hear your answer first.
Oh, you don't? Okay, because I commented.
Okay, I didn't hear your answer first. I would like to answer and see if we're similar.
Okay. So advice to, so there's 2 parts of the question, I guess. First part is, what do you have new advice? But so the second thing was I posted or I commented on the part where there was a thread on don't work with your family, don't work with your spouse, you'll get divorced. There was people who commented they're getting a divorce, people that got divorced, all that kind of stuff. They've lost spouse and divorce. So really the more the question is here, what is your feeling of working with your spouse? Okay. That's more the specific question.
So we've worked together for 20 years. I think there's been ups and downs. I think there's definitely more ups. Marcus and I really, at least I really enjoy working with him. I believe he really enjoys working with me. We complement each other very well. You have some strong areas and I have some strong areas. I have some weaknesses and you have some weaknesses, and we kind of blend those together and it works together. I wouldn't change it. I think there needs to be, for new people, if you haven't been doing this for a long time, I mean, we were young when we started, right? We had young kids. We kind of knew what our roles were. You have to set roles.
How young were we?
Oh gosh, 28 and 30.
28 and 30. I was
28 and 30. So
now.
That's young, right? So we're 47 and 49 now, and that's young. to start beginning to work with your spouse. But I think, there's been definitely ups and downs. I think we push each other. I think we work well together. I think we know our roles. We talk a lot. I think it depends. I think you have to have really good communication. And I think uh, I wouldn't change it. I mean, I guess that would be the what I would say about that. I wouldn't change working with you. There are times where, of course, we don't agree on something,
But that
and
happens.
well, it's going to happen no matter what.
It's
It's
gonna
going to
happen in
happen
a
at home,
marriage.
or yeah,
And that's gonna happen with two business partners that are together. It's gonna happen
absolutely.
with a restaurant manager
I've
and a
always told I've
boss.
always told you, like, we cannot agree on everything.
No,
Even in our relationship, like, if we agreed on everything and we did exactly the same thing on everything, we'd be the same person, and that's boring.
right.
So we both bring things to the table that are important, that are really important in our business, in all of our business. And I think support is the biggest thing, supporting each other. I know for me, that has always been a difficult thing. Not that I never supported you, but allowing you to make some decisions, some high ticket dollar decisions, because I was always afraid of money. I was afraid that we wouldn't have enough, because there's been so many times, throughout the many years that
We
that there
didn't have
was
enough.
struggling,
We didn't have
and
enough
we
money.
didn't have enough. So I think that's really important. I think there's a few things that people get divorced over, and money is
Right.
probably one of the top.
I mean, there were times we cashed out a life insurance policy, a
Mhm.
small life insurance policy to get by and pay bills. We took money out of our daughter's bank account one winter to do payroll.
It
She
wasn't
was
a lot, but
she
it
was
was
8 years
enough.
old. It covered the weekend payroll, right? And it was just enough to get us by to another week. And in the very, very beginning, I always said, we didn't have enough money. We opened that restaurant with $65,000 in 2003. And I always said every night, there's more money coming in. There's more money coming in. There's more money coming in.
And there was always more coming in.
Just
It
not
just didn't
enough.
feel like it was ever enough.
Enough. It wasn't enough sometimes. There was a lot of times, our first 5 years, there just wasn't enough money. You find yourself working harder and
Harder
harder
and
and
harder.
harder.
So
And that's where the marriage breaks. That's where things go wrong. And I think that it actually brought us
closer
closer
together,
together.
I would agree.
It made us work harder for our dream and our passion. And so let's really set the record straight on this. I'm a professionally trained chef.
I am not.
I was the one who went to culinary school. I was the one who went an apprenticeship. I was the one who worked in Europe at a Michelin 3-star for Pierre Kaufman. I was the one who busted my ass.
I always loved food, and I always loved going out to eat, but I never knew what it was like to work in a restaurant. I was a teacher before. I raised our kids. I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 4 years of our daughter's life, and then we opened our restaurant. So, I think there were times where I was upset, like, how did we get here? Right? Because this isn't what I wanted to do. But once I realized that we had the same passion and the same dream, and it came together, then I realized that we were where we were supposed to be at the time.
Right. So prior to this, I had a great job at a country club. I worked 4 months out of the year, 5 months out of the year at a seasonal country club. Got paid like I was working all year. I would have been, you would have gone back to school teaching when Courtney was old enough, and basically, I would have been a stay-at-home dad in the winter, and you would have been a stay-at-home mom in the summer, and it kind of would have swapped back and forth.
But I don't think it would have worked because of our personalities. I think we needed to be on the same page, not opposites.
I agree, and for me especially, because I found myself I couldn't work for anybody anymore.
Right.
I didn't want to work for anybody. I knew what I wanted on food. I knew what I wanted personally
Mhm.
as far as my career. I got water, sounds good. I knew what I wanted from my career. I knew the food I wanted to cook. I knew the wine I wanted to serve. I knew the path I wanted to take. So working somewhere would not have fulfilled that for me. And that's when I might have not been the person I am today. And
Right.
that's where we might not be where we are today.
Right. Well, everything always happens for a reason, right? So what was your answer on that? Was that very similar?
So I'm going to reveal my answer to end this episode.
Okay.
So
But it was a two-part question. So do we have to answer the second part
I'm
too?
just going to answer the second part about working together.
Okay.
I'm going to address that. So 2003 to 2008, we struggled terribly.
Mhm.
We should have filed bankruptcy every year, right? 2008, 2009, we kind of saw the light. It wasn't until 2012 where our accountant was like, hey, you got some extra money, you should probably spend some money at the end of the year. It wasn't much, it was $10,000-$15,000. But you know, when your accountant says that after 10 years of being open, you're like, I finally got extra money after 10 years, I should go and buy a new oven or something. You think you're like, oh my gosh,
God, I'm there.
success.
I'm there.
Success.
We're there.
and as things go along, then we opened up another restaurant along the way, and that was a terrible situation with a partner and best friend, and that ended. We lost a ton of money in that. We lost our house through that. It was a bad, very bad financial situation. So it took us almost 12 years where we were really in great shape financially. The restaurant, I mean, in crazy numbers, awesome, like 4 times of what we did the first year. It was great, and all of a sudden, then we go to take the next step and fall flat and lose a ton of money, and like we're back at ground zero again. We're finding ourselves like we're out of money again, and it was a terrible situation. And then we worked out of that, and pre-COVID up to 2019, we're back again. We're better than ever. 2020, amazing. COVID hits, and we bust our butts.
We didn't know what was going to happen.
We didn't know what was going to happen. We bust our butts. 2020 was the best year. 2021 was better. 2022 is even better than the previous 2 years. We worked different, worked hard. We wrote a book about it, and that book's going to be coming out. I told Hiver today, I said, we're going to print in 2 days.
We worked harder, but we worked better.
Worked better, smarter. We did things we normally would not have done, which we got to talk about that in the book. The book's coming out. I literally messaged Hiver today and I said, we're going to print in 2 days. Everything's ready. We're going to print in 2 days. So that's going to be great.
Awesome.
So,
is my name going to be on this book?
Yeah, of course your name's on this book. Of course your name's on this book.
Just making sure I'm an author now.
So, my answer to that question was, I said, we've built our dream business and our dream life.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. So
we
working together, we love to travel. We
Yeah.
travel a lot. We travel extensively. We eat great food. We drink great wine. We've met a ton of amazing people in and out of the restaurant. We have tons of great friends. Our network is just amazing. We live our passion every single day. With everything we purchase, everything we do, everything we express is our passion, and we get to help people. We get to help farmers. We get to help people eat better. We get to educate people,
our guests.
You know, I mean, throughout the course of these years, we built 100,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel. We've gotten out there. We've gotten out there a lot. We've got lots of write-ups on us. People know who we are. And I said, we've built our dream business and our dream life together like this. Like that. What else more could you ask for? What else more?
Not else.
I mean, money's not an issue like it used to be. You know, somebody actually talked me out of the other day of even like wanting even to do a TV show, because I've always wanted to do a TV show, and they're like, you guys are in such a great place right now, like your lives will change. Not that we have a TV show offer, we've had TV show casting calls over the years, and they come in a lot.
Because that's what you wanted, that's what you thought you needed. And I think you thought you needed that, and we haven't even had this discussion, because you see that. You see the guys on the TV show, and you want to be like that, and you want your name out there for that. But you know what? Your name is going to be out there for other things. Our name is going to be out there for other things. And you don't need to have a TV show to be successful.
Right. I've already reached 30 million viewers on YouTube. Right.
Successful restaurant. We have people that trust us every single day in what we do at our restaurant.
Yep.
And you're not working for somebody else.
Right. So we don't want another location.
No.
We're not interested in another location. What we doing? We would, but we're not looking for one. We don't want one. We don't need another location. A lot of restaurateurs open locations, second locations, so they think they need to make more money.
Right.
Because they're not making enough money in the first locations, which we thought in the beginning. And so we don't need other than what we have, all that's what we have. We've downsized our house. We think we're minimalists to a certain point on our living spaces. We don't need this huge home anymore.
We have a huge office.
We have a huge office. We have a huge office. We own our restaurant building almost outright now after 20 years. We have an amazing situation. So we'd like to share this journey with you and
Absolutely.
inspire others and help others. And that's really what I love doing, is I love helping people and showing people the way. I go to a restaurant, I love talking to the owner or the manager and like giving them advice and this and this and this. And you should, and say, oh, why don't you do this, this. I love helping people. I don't like to see people struggle like we did. There's
Yes.
shortcuts to be taken, and there's people to get the answers from and the help from. And I've been dedicated, which is why I wrote the first book, 50 Mistakes That Business Restaurant Owners Make, is because I saw people struggling. I said, these 50 things, you do these 50 things, this will change your restaurant. I guarantee you. And people are like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this kind of stuff. It'll change your restaurant, the first 50 steps in there. That's the second book, such simple things that'll help change your marketing of your restaurant. And this last one is to say, hey, you got through COVID. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. Here's how you move forward. Here's how you don't move forward. Here's what we did. Here's our blueprint to not only surviving COVID, a pandemic, but to having our best years ever.
Mhm.
And as a subsequent, building our dream business along the way. So
I like that.
yeah.
Wow. All
So
right. That was a great.
so join us for more episodes.
We're going to talk more and more about different things that go on in our restaurant, things to help other people. We're going to talk about relationship
Working
things,
as a couple
working
together.
as couplepreneurs, right? We are couplepreneurs. We enjoy pushing each other to different levels and limits. And what else are we talking about? Our family.
Yeah.
And
Bunch
so
of stuff.
lots of stuff coming
But
up soon.
we're basically talking
in-
about building our dream business
Absolutely.
and helping other people do the same thing.
That should be the name of our podcast.
Dream business.
Building your dream business.
Building your dream business.
As couplepreneurs.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it.
Love it.
We weren't sure what the name of it was going to be, but there we go. Maybe we'll fine tune it a little bit. And that's going to be it for today.
All right, everybody.
All right. Have a wonderful day and
go to restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com. You'll find tons of information over there on how to create your dream restaurant.
And have a great glass of wine tonight.
Yes, absolutely.